Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1898. Hello, it is Mike Matthews. I've had a little more sleep since the last show. The show that's called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Why the heck do I have MacGyver on here at Cafe Anyway? Because it's, I guess, on. It's a show where people watch it while eating bonbons because it's an old show that was in the late 80s, early 90s, and this guy with a incredible mullet makes things happen, and in this case, he makes a newspaper balloon fly. A hot air
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Newspaper balloon. He uses a burning piece of cotton and
Mike's
this newspaper
Daily
balloon thing.
Podcast.
And it's flying away.
Yeah!
I'm not sure exactly why this is. And before this, I was watching Great American Hero. The Great American Hero, Connie Selica, John Tesh's future wife, was on that show. And it was a lot of bad special effects, like the lowest budget special effects ever. And it's an inspiration to anyone who wants to make a superhero video on YouTube. You too can do it. It should be YouTube, because it gives you such confidence. Look where we are. We are in Podcastro Valleyton today. In fact, yours truly is going to walk across Cafe Anyway to this microphone over here, because over on this microphone, I found a Matthews Chino that was sitting over here. So I'm going to bring it back over.
What?
To microphone 1.
You can use your debit if it's easier.
There we go. Back to microphone 1.
Don't worry, I will cross my eyes so I can't see your secret code.
Because you got to have your Matthews Chino when you're doing the Mike Matthews podcast. By the way, if you're listening to the show because you heard me on the radio Sunday morning on KKDV, I have a 6 a.m. to noon show playing 80s music, and that's at kkdv.com.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's with this wonderful person. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Jolene Stewart, gift shop supervisor. Oh my God, what's MacGyver? MacGyver. It's a guy played by Dean. Is it Dean Stockwell? No, that was the guy from. That was the other guy from the Scott Bakula show. The Quantum Leap. Thank you. MacGyver was. Let's see. It's not Lucas Till Angus. Oh, that was when they redid it. Ugh. Dang you, CBS. Why does anybody remake anything anymore? That should just be outlawed now. Because Richard Dean Anderson, thank you. Oh, Basil. And Dana Elcar, I think he's passed away. He actually lost his eyesight. Yeah, he passed away in 2005. I remember he lost his eyesight rather early on. You know, interesting side note. I've been watching a lot of stuff, and that was Basil, by the way, who had a wonderful day. It was funny because we were walking in Oaktown, Oakland, in this nice area with some beautiful houses. And we were walking along, and there's this lady with a thick Russian accent, and she sees how I walk Basil, because he can't move his back legs so much anymore. He can move them, but he can't put any weight on them. And so I pick him up from the back end with a harness, and she goes, "Oh, that's so nice," with her Russian accent. Then I drive him a little bit to another area, and because he can't walk very long, and he doesn't get interested. And he makes it known when he doesn't want to go any further. He stops and turns around and goes back to the car. So we drive a little bit further to this other nice area, and the same Russian woman walks by, and she's like, "Hello, so cute." And then, so Basil can only walk a little bit, and then we turn around and we go to another spot. Oh my God, can you believe I parked right in front of this Russian woman's house? I am serious. And she comes out, and she's got a little Shih Tzu. Little thing, looks like a little Ewok. And it walks over to Basil, and they sniff each other. And she's like, oh, it's so cute. Cute. Anyway, Cafe Anyway, that's what happened yesterday with Basil the Boxer. But I was just going crazy from the heat yesterday. It was so bad. Yes. Oh, Mike. You live in the Bay Area. You live close to the coast. You should live inland where it's over 100 or where there's humidity. Yeah, well, it sucked anyway. I don't like this darn heat. And so it was so bad that after a while I felt drunk. I wasn't getting enough. I think I might have been dehydrated or something because I felt really just out of it. Like I shouldn't operate any heavy machinery or anything. Yeesh. That's just the worst. And it was Friday the 13th yesterday. And yes, stuff went wrong. Wrong at work. Stuff did. And luckily we were able to fix it and everything was fine. Okay. That's about that part. But I am so glad it's cooling down a little bit today. And that it is no longer Friday the 13th. And I don't understand Instagram. By the way, I'm on Instagram there. You can find me, Mike's Daily Podcast. If you type in Mike's Daily Podcast, you'll find me on Instagram. And people, I have yet to do a story. I've never done an Instagram story. Those are those little videos that appear in the upper top of your Instagram feed. And if you don't have an Instagram feed, I'm explaining to the people that don't. And at the top, people make little movies and they talk to the camera. And I just hate that. Oh, it's just so, hey guys, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to a water park because it's hot today. Ugh. And there are some people, okay, that's fine if you do that once in a while, but some people do it constantly. Like a daily podcast. No, they're doing, but at least you don't have to see my stupid face looking into the camera all blank-eyed, because that's what these people do. They turn on their phone and they're not looking at the lens and talking to you. They're talking to themselves because they see the monitor. They see themselves. They're like talking to the mirror. They're not talking to you. And so there's this glazed over look on their eyes. I'm very sensitive to this. I was telling my lovely lady friend last night, I have this wonderful BS meter. I've had it for a long time. And I just know when people they're not sincere. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton. That's why I could never be a salesperson. Because I can't sell you something that you don't want to buy. There's something missing. You've got to look back on your life. There's something that just ain't right. What about love? Hey, want someone to care about you. What about heart? Don't let it slip away. Listen to your heart. When he's calling for you, listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. Oh, the 80s had chord progressions that were like this. Listen to your heart before you tell him. Don't stop, believe, just a small town girl. I'm totally ripping off a video where these guys are totally playing the same. There's the same chord progression through most of the music in the 80s, and I guess most pop music has the same chord progression. And hey, that's life. Oh, the Bruce Springsteen show that's on Netflix. It's the Broadway thing he does, and how he saw a guitar as a kid. And he wanted it, but they were too poor. His family was too poor, so they rented the guitar. And he only had it a limited time. And he felt bad because he started playing it and he hated it. He hated the guitar. And he took lessons and he hated it. And he felt bad that his mom was paying good money for it, so he gave the guitar back. But he said one thing he did before he gave the guitar back. And by the way, Bruce, when he does a Broadway show, as I guess most Broadway shows, they become a monologue. And though very sincere Bruce Springsteen is, he talks so slow and gets every bit of pennies worth out of every single word. That's what I'm trying to say. He talks slowly and very, very calculated, very meticulous. And he talks about how the one thing he did before he gave the guitar back to the rental store was he took a picture with it as a kid. And that started it. That started the whole rock and roll star thing. The kids, everybody laughing at him, but he had a picture, and that was, if you can see it, you can be it, as the old expression goes. That's my little motivation for you today. You can be anything you want. And yes, maybe do a Instagram movie or story. I don't know. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just telling you it's annoying to watch those. And I just noticed that some people do them constantly. And the stuff they're telling me, like, I just signed up for a 10-week program that costs thousands and thousands of dollars to help motivate me. No. There is so much motivation. Heck, this is a motivation podcast, but it's one against billions. There's millions amongst them, of zillions of them. And much better motivators and people that will tell you good things in your ear hole. But or YouTube stuff that will inspire you. But just the stories on Instagram are vapid. And I see a lot of the falseness, a lot of the insincerity in the people that are talking directly to the cameras, they're talking to their selfie cameras, what they're doing, and they see themselves. I've done it. It looks terrible. Don't do it. Okay, but Bruce is talking to the audience here at on Broadway, and it's done on Netflix, and he says that's what... but he was taking all those guitar lessons, struggling to find just the 3 chords that he needed. 3 chords. 3 chords and the truth. That's all you need. And you become a songwriter, and you can get the whole thing out and become a rock star. And, you have to hate your school, too, is what Bruce was saying. If you like your school, then get the heck out. We don't need you in rock and roll. Rock stars all hated their schools, except for, I guess, the Beach Boys. They said, be cool to your school? Be cruel to your school? One of those. Anywho, chords, my friend, chords. That's what it's all about. And singing and not being superstitious and dealing with the heat and cooling off. And asteroids. Yes, today an asteroid's going to pass by Earth that's larger than some of the tallest buildings. Yes. It's called Asteroid 2000 QW7. Let's see. It is traveling at over 14,000 miles per hour. And it's going to pass how close to Earth? Within 3 million miles. Something a little over 3 million miles. Astronomers don't believe that asteroid poses any danger, but NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies is tracking it. I guess you can watch it on the internet if you are listening to this before, or I guess it's happening Saturday evening around 7:54 p.m. Eastern Time, which here Pacifically would be around 4:54, around 5 o'clock. Okay, so I left myself a little voice message today because I knew that I would run out of stuff to talk about. And I wanted to talk about... Craigslist. Is that what Yeah. For example, let's see. Let me see if I can
Now it's easier than ever to do a podcast on a Chromebook.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing I've seen. Doing a podcast on a Chromebook. Who the hell has a Chromebook? You know who does? People that work at Google. They give them away at Google. Hey, you work here at Google. So, okay, how nice is it to work at Google? Of course, Google never wants you to go home. That's why they give you all that free food, and they give you life coaches and childcare and masseuses, and they never want you to leave the Google campus, which I still have never been to. I hear it's very nice. But yes, they want you to stay there all day and they give you Google Chromebooks. I don't know anybody who has a Chromebook. I live in the Bay Area. Don't know anyone. Now, I know this guy that works at an app that you might actually listen to this podcast to on. Podcast on. Get my prepositions correct. And he claims they just give him Apple notebooks constantly. Oh, you need a new one? Here's a new one. There you go. Like they're just falling out of a tree. An Apple notebook tree. What's this other one here?
I was hearing about this whole wonderful website that you
There's a
probably
truck backing
forgot
up.
about, Craigslist. It has really touched people's lives.
Oh, yeah. Craigslist. So, you know, before we had all of these dating apps, which by the grace of God, I have not needed a dating app for many. I gave up on it about 5 years ago. I said no more. But, I recently deleted a bunch of, this is where this conversation came from with my lovely lady friend. I deleted a bunch of emails because my Gmail, yes, I use a Google product. I use the photos and to give Google a plug. And I am at MikesDailyPodcast1898Sincere. But they have this thing. Oh, yeah. So the Gmail, I'm deleting all these old emails I used to get from OkCupid. I used to be on there. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And I did not like it. I had a relationship go really bad from someone I met on there. And I said enough. And I deleted my account. Well, turns out my lovely lady friend had been on it as well. But she goes, you know what? The one she was telling me about that I had forgotten all about, Craigslist. Craigslist was the personals before all these dating apps. They ripped off Craigslist, basically. They went with something that worked and they took it to the next level, I guess. But yeah, Craigslist used to have all these personal ads. And people would find their wives, their husbands on it, cars, jobs. I found a job. I think my current full-time job I got through Craigslist. I got a lot of furniture through Craigslist. I forgot how much that stupid website touched our lives. Almost as much as Google. Really? Stuff that you need. My dog, the lovely Basil the Boxer, who you heard earlier, was from Craigslist. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting concept. It also has a guy's name with a possessive in it, similar to my website, Mike's Daily Podcast, Craigslist. Of course, you don't put the apostrophe in either, or. So, to sum up, you can tell me what you think about all this at 3 + 3 = 6 Daily. That's if you call me at 336 Daily. As in Mike Matthews, daily as in what this podcast has been for. Wow, 3 days. Wow. And watch out for that asteroid, and also watch out for vaping, because in the wake of 6 deaths and 380 cases of confirmed probable lung disease across the U.S., the Trump administration has called for banning most flavored e-cigarettes. Wow. This president has sure had an interest in health, hasn't he? Even though many have said, not just on the left-wing media or whatever you call it, the drive-by media, whatever your name is for the media, he's not the healthiest guy, you got to admit. I mean, he's not dying dead. He hasn't stroked out as far as we know yet, but he's gotten close to it. But still, he's had a concern for health almost to the level of Miss Michelle Obama. Remember, she wanted to get us moving, which is very important. You should move. You shouldn't pick up the phone and call the guy down the hall. You should get up and walk down the hall and talk to the guy or gal or whatever you call that particular person. That human. There you go. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is looking closely at the different flavored nicotine juices and other substances users may be vaping in e-cigarettes to determine how the aerosol might be affecting the user's lungs. It's in the aerosol. And there's something about vitamin E. There was too much vitamin E in that people were inhaling, and that was causing them all kinds of harm. And the CDC lowered the number of confirmed and probable cases from more than 400 to 380. The number was lower because it is no longer reporting possible cases. Many smokers who use these devices, they use it to quit, are concerned that a valuable tool may be taken away from them. The way users puff, how long they puff, and what they puff all play a role. Interestingly. These devices have a short history. As an engineer who studies how people use tobacco products, says the person who wrote this article, I believe that users' behavior is key to understanding the positive and negative health effects resulting from e-cigarettes. After all, their intent was to help people stop smoking, the number one cause of preventable death in the U.S. This is Risa Robinson wrote that for the National Interest. Okay, well, there you go. So, yeah, that's probably my bit of a motivation for you, is to not do that e-cigarette stuff. And I think that pretty much wraps up the show. Except we haven't talked to these people yet. Let's say hi to them here at Cafe Anyway in Podcastro Valley 10 at the last place on earth today. Look who else. Hello, Michael Masters, Madam. And what is vaping? Vaping is this thing. It's like this thing that's been around a while, and people smoke, and usually you can tell because you smell this really sweet, fruity smell in the air versus the stinky cigarette smoke we used to smell. So there's that positive angle to it. Michael Master, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh! And look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, I just want to tell you that we don't allow any smoking or vaping out in the parking lot.
Yeah, none of that. A Cafe Anyway. Do you know that? Wow, you guys are really adamant. And verdant? I don't know. At least you're sincere, and that's the important thing. Okay. Be sincere, my friend. Be lucky. Be good. Be thankful that Friday the 13th is over. Be hopeful the asteroid doesn't hit us, and be cool, because it's been hot lately. And next show, it's going to be the wonderful Shelley will be back, I guess. Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Foreman, and John Deere the Engineer. 336MM Daily, or you can call me Mike, or email me, MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. That's good. Okay, here's the lovely Ariel to tell us more.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!